Okay, welcome back to Oboe Boot Camp. Now in this lesson, we're going to learn how to clean out or dry out our instrument and put it back in its case. Okay, so we're going to start by carefully removing the reed. So grasp it by the cork or the staple and just gently twist and pull it out. There you go. Now we're going to place that off to the side in a safe place just to let it dry a little bit before we put it back in the case. Okay. Next we're going to do is remove the bell. So just grip the bottom, the lower joint. Try not to squeeze or compress any of the metal keywork. The metal on an oboe is very soft. It will bend, which is a good thing. But we don't want to bend it if we don't mean to. So just be very careful of that. And we're just going to gently twist. Okay, just back and forth. Just twist, 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 and pull the bell off. Okay. Next, we're going to separate the upper joint and the lower joint. Again, being careful not to bend or twist any of the keys, and just gently rock it back and forth. We don't want to go twisting all the way around, because what's going to happen if you do that is these metal keys that protrude beyond the end of the various joints, they will start to hit. I can do this very slowly and carefully. They'll start to hit each other if you twist too far, and they will bend and potentially break. So just rock it gently back and forth and remove it like that. Okay, so now we're going to dry out or clean out our oboe before we put it away. Now this is really important to do, because if you have any moisture inside of your instrument when you put it back in its case, that can create problems such as mold, and we do not want that to happen. So what you're going to need to do, if you don't already have one, is get yourself an oboe swab. Now it's going to look something like this. It's really just a thin piece of silk. It's so thin you can see through it, right? Usually made out of silk. We don't want anything thicker than this, because it can get stuck inside your oboe and can be very expensive to remove, and that would be not a good thing. So what you're looking for is a thin piece of silk here, and it's going to have a string attached with a little weight. Okay. Now we're going to take the various parts of our oboe. We'll go ahead and start with the bell. We're going to go from big to little. So what we're going to do is drop the weight in to the big end of the bell and just kind of feed it through, and then we can grab it on the bottom and just simply pull the swab through, and that'll draw out any residual moisture that might still be in there. Okay, we'll take the lower joint as well, and we'll go in here with the weight and just drop it through, and again just gently pull it straight through, and that'll remove any moisture. And finally, we have the upper joint. Now this one we have to be a little bit careful, because the hole where the reed goes in is very small, and we're not going to pull the swab all the way through because it will get stuck if we try to pull it all the way through. So what we want to do is put the top down. The part where the reed goes is going to be on the bottom, and the cork is going to be on the top. And we'll just place our weight through that the hole where the cork is, and we see it coming out the bottom. We're just going to gently pull the swab. Now we can see the swab coming out this hole now. Okay, well, now we don't want to pull too much further than that, really, because again it could potentially get stuck. Now you'll see we have a string on the other side here, and that's how we know this is an oboe swab. That way we can pull it back out the same direction it went in. Okay, and that way we're not getting it stuck. And I've seen this happen before, where it just gets stuck in that little tiny hole there, and doesn't matter which way you pull, it's not going anywhere, and then we have to get in there and do some expensive surgery to get it out. We don't want that. Okay, so now we're going to place the oboe back inside of its case. So go ahead and open up your case, and then you really just have to figure out which way it goes in. There's only one way for it to go in. So usually the thumb rest there is going to have a little divot where it will fit in the case. If you try to go backwards, it's not going to fit. So just a little bit of trial and error at first will help you kind of figure that out. And then the upper joint, again, kind of figuring out which way it's going to fit in there correctly. A good idea might be to take a picture as you're opening your case for the first time, so you can kind of see the way it goes in there. The bell should be pretty obvious how it fits in there. Then you're good to go. Don't forget to latch the case before you pick it up. Okay, and finally you need to put away your reed, which should be fairly dry by now. Your reed might have come in a little case like this. with some foam in there, that's totally fine. You'll notice this case also has these little holes in the end, which will help any residual moisture there to continue to evaporate. The thing with reeds is we don't want them to be so dry that they just dry out and crack, but we also don't want them to be so wet that they grow mold. So it's kind of a tricky thing, but this works just fine for now. So you can go ahead and put the reed on its little cushion there, and then close up your lid. Make sure that stays flat. There we go. Close your lid. Okay, and you're good to go. They do make cases for oboe reeds that are specifically designed for that, so that's something you can invest in. You could also get yourself an Altoids tin. Altoids, the mints, they come in a little metal tin. And then inside the tin, obviously remove the Altoids first, and place a few layers of paper towel inside, and then poke some holes in the metal, and that'll allow it to breathe, and you can kind of just use that to hold your reeds. So there's different things you can do, but it's important that we really take care of the reeds. They are very fragile. They are very easy to break if you're not careful, and they're very expensive. So take very, very good care of your reeds. All right, so that's it for this lesson. I'll see you right back here for the next lesson.